Welcome to the end step. Maria Bartholdi here with Rich Hagan and Paul Cheon. And Paul, we saw a lot of cards out there today, but you got to pick one. The card of the day, what is it and why?
The card that I chose, it's a blue card, no surprise. But the card of the day for me was Search for Azcanta. This is just an amazing card. Josh Layton proclaimed this card to be absolutely broken. He's playing 3 copies of it in his deck, and it serves as the card draw engine, effectively the finisher, although it takes forever to actually win the game, but it just makes it so that every single turn you get to basically tutor up a very relevant spell, and for the low cost of 2 mana. You know, it's not a high cost. You play this on turn 2, allows you to basically scry every single turn, put spells into your graveyard, which also works well with Torrential Gearhulk. And once this thing flips, if you've stabilized and you get this going, this is just going to end the game.
How do you feel about a card like Field of Ruin versus Azcanta here?
I think Field of Ruin was a very smart addition. I think they did expect blue-black control mirrors. And if you saw, Josh Layton against Shota Yasuoka had the Field of Ruin as the trump card, because Shota was playing a 3-color control deck. He couldn't afford to put these into his deck. And the Field of Ruin did allow Josh Layton to use the Field of Ruin to deal with the opposing Azcanta.
Well, that is the card of the day. What about our player of the day? No surprise, it's William Jensen, and Brian David Marshall is down on the floor with him.
All right, thanks, Maria. I'm here with Pro Tour Hall of Famer William Jensen, and he's also our 7-0 player of the day here at the Magic the Gathering World Championship. Huey, what do you do going into a tournament like this in terms of your expectations on day one?
Well, I didn't expect this, certainly. You know, it's always a possibility. I'm very, very happy with the result. I was saying I played really, everybody kind of says like, oh, I had tough matches, but I'm serious. I played some insane matches of Magic today, just round after round. Close games, interesting games, both formats. The game 1 and 2 against Javier were 2 really cool games of Magic. If anybody has a chance to go watch those, I thought they were really interesting. Like, both of us had the opportunity to take completely different lines every turn. Like, we could have probably reasonably attacked with all our creatures or none of our creatures. It was just really interesting.
Safe to say that when you go into a tournament, that's the feeling you want to get at the end of the day, that you just made all the right decisions and put yourself in a position to win? Yeah,
exactly. I mean, if you make the right decisions, things are going to break your way more often than not. And I mean, sometimes you get unlucky, and you know, sometimes you make the right decisions and they don't work out, even luck aside. But I was fortunate today that it did work out.
And then, you know, historically, you know, we would say maybe a 3-4 record tomorrow to lock up a Sunday appearance here in a building that apparently is across the street from a building your grandfather owned?
Yeah, he did. Also, I think this is the building I won the Team Pro Tour in. That's what my dad said. I don't really remember exactly where we were, but 2003, I guess. Pro Tour Boston.
I don't think it was this building. There was a Grand Prix here. It was individuals won by Tom Swan. You might have been there. We might be the only 2 people who were there.
I was there. I remember that for sure. But yeah, my grandfather, yeah, he owned a building right across the street. He died when I was like 2 or 3. So then my grandmother owned it, and there was like a liquor store they owned and a convenience store. So occasionally, I remember as a kid coming in here, you know, my aunt was running the store or whatever, and we would go visit and whatever. So. Because we drove in, Reed Owen and I have been staying at my dad's, so we drove into town last night, and I said, this is really familiar. I'm pretty sure this is right near where my grandfather used to own the building, and my dad came in today. It turns out it's literally right there on the corner.
All right. Well, I'm sure your dad's waiting to talk to you, and your teammates are waiting to celebrate this finish with you. Huey, great job today, and we'll see you in action here tomorrow at the World Championship.
Well, of course, after Player of the Day, we also have to consider Match of the Day. And when you have so many great players on a field like this, all of them could win. But there are a couple that we really want to mention. Honourable mention for me was the match between Josh Layton and Shota Yasuoka. 2 absolute masters of the game, both playing control. We only got some look-ins on it, but the look-ins that we got were super-duper sweet. We got a chance to see 2 slightly different approaches to control. Search for Azcanta playing a big role. The thing with that one, though, we're going to see quite a lot of control matchups over the course of this weekend. There was one other match this weekend, though, that, well, I'd be surprised if we see any others quite like it.
Absolutely. Christian Calcano was drafting, getting out of the gates like Kathy Freeman, really, with a deck that had 4 copies of Swashbuckling, 3 Blight Keepers, 2 Mark of the Vampires. This guy knew exactly what he wanted to do. But, of course, standing in his way from the clean sweep, the 3-0 finish, was Mr. Magic himself, Reed, Duke, and Tim. what a match we saw between these two guys.
100%. It was unusual for anyone to have any good answers to what Christian Calcano's deck was going on. It was so aggressive. It had so many powerful flyers. But in Reed's deck, you did have Grazing Whiptail, you did have Crashing Canopy. There was a way that potentially Reed was going to be able to knock Christian Calcano off the ability to get to the full 3-0. Don't want to go into too much detail because it is back there in the video, but if you're looking for a great match of Magic to go back and watch, check out round 2.
Thanks so much, Tim and Riley. Well, we've got our card of the day, player of the day, match of the day. Why don't we look at our leaderboard to see where we are after day 1 here at the 2017 World Championship. And there you see him, William Huey Jensen, the lone undefeated player, sitting at 7-0. What an amazing record going into day 2. In at second is Kelvin Chu, sitting at 5-2. He's got a little company there. Josh Utter-Layton, also at 5-2. Blue-Black Control, a great deck tech with him that I recorded earlier today. Seth Manfield also sitting at 5-2. Christian Calcano 4-3, along with Javier Dominguez, Brad Nelson, Sam Black, Reed Duke, Jerry Thompson, Yuya Watanabe, and Eric Froelich. So all potentially in great position going into tomorrow. Owen Turtenwald also sitting at 4-3. There you can see Martin Yuza, Shota Yasuoka, 3-4 as we round out the rest of our players.
All right, so there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everyone at home, wherever you are. What a tremendous day we've had here on day 1. We are done for the night, but we are not done for the weekend. We have so much coming your way from the fabulous city of Boston, Massachusetts. You had better believe that it only gets better from here. Will Brad Nelson be able to get the job done and get into the Final 4? Users up against it. Jensen is at 7-0 and cleaning the building absolutely top to bottom. Chu, a surprise package at 5-2. Utter-Layton with a positive record still in there. And Jensen, nope, he still hasn't lost either. You better believe that. There's the trophy. Jensen is closer, and we're closer to doing it all again tomorrow. On behalf of everyone, we'll see you for day 2 of the World Championships.